Hello everyone, how are you doing? We are going to do a full fight prediction video for UFC Fight Night Rio. I immediately have a question. Why is Vitor Walker fighting Muhammad Usman? Could anybody make sense of but Muhammad Usman? I don't even think he's won a fight in the UFC. Sure, he's the brother of legendary Kamaru Usman, but he's not even from Cameroon. um, I don't understand that. Why is Muhammad Usman fighting Vitor Walker? Vitor Walker, everybody's like hyped on. He's had three, I think, heel hook victories, submission victories in a row. I think it's heel hook. And everybody's like, "Oh yeah, you can make noise in the heavyweight division." He's looking like, you know, he can actually make a run at heavyweight, and he's fighting Muhammad Usman for his fourth fight in a row. I think they're just trying to get they're just trying to continue the saga of the heel hook victory with Vitor Walker. I think that's what it is because this makes no sense at all. Muhammad Usman is complete garbage. Like, listen, we're gonna go from the main event all the way through the first fight on the prelims because you know how we do. We switch it up. We don't just do the same order every time, like prelims to the main event. We do main event to prelims. That's how we roll around here. Okay? So we're gonna start with Charles versus Gamrot. Now, let's talk about this for a minute. I was a little worried at first when Gamrot was supposed to originally be Rafael Fiziev. And everybody was like, "Oh, it's too early for Charles to come back because he got brutally knocked out by Ilya Topuria," and everybody was like, "Oh, it's too soon for Charles to come back versus Rafael Fiziev because Fiziev is gonna knock him out, possibly." And I said, "Wait a minute, I don't know if Fiziev, who's he knocking out like that? You know what I mean? He didn't knock out Gaethje, didn't knock out Gamrot. You know what I mean? He's not really knocking people out like that. He has power to move you, but he doesn't have like power to like KO you. You know what I mean? It's like so I originally, I started to grow on the idea of Charles beating Fiziev. Now my argument was always, oh well, Charles, you're coming back and you're giving Rafael Fiziev a better chance to knock you out. I never said he was gonna knock him out. That was my stance on it. But I'll put that fight breakdown that I made in the description if you guys want to check it out. Fact check me. Um, but yeah, no, you see, I think this fight is perfect for Charles. Like a lot of people are saying, this is not an easy. It's not going to be an easy fight. Gamrot makes every fight hard. Like he beat Ludovic Klein, lost a hooker in what would someone call a war. I guess the battle of the opposites, one wrestler versus a striker. Hooker, in my opinion, when I first watched the fight, I thought Hooker got the best of him. He landed the better shots. Um, you know, he beat RDA. He beat Fiziev. Fiziev's knee gave out. Fiziev had to go out for a long time. He beat Jalen Turner. He lost to Benil. So, listen, Gamrot has some good wins. He's always ready to step up to the plate to fight. He's good for business, for sure. You know what I mean? But he just doesn't have what you need to beat a Charles. He's nowhere close to Charles on the feet. And I think that Charles, you know, Charles will probably get taken down. But I think Charles is a good enough grappler to offset what Gamrot's gonna do, because Gamrot doesn't really attack offensively on the ground either. So he'll take you down and just that's it. You know what I mean? There's nothing in the way of damage, ground and pound. There's nothing in the way of submissions and things like that. He's just a very, very dominant wrestler. Like he's incredibly good at wrestling. His takedown defense is superb, but he just doesn't do anything with his takedowns. You feel me? So I don't know how anyone could pick Gamrot to beat Charles. Like where would he beat him? Like, you know what I mean? I don't see or no understand how anyone could pick. I get that it's not going to be an easy fight because Gamrot does make fights hard for everybody. But, Charles is a superior striker. He's a superior submission artist. He's a superior finisher overall. Gamrot's chinny. We've seen Gamrot get caught in his fights. He's chinny. So is Charles, but the difference is Gamrot doesn't have the striking ability to drop Charles like that, I don't think. He doesn't have any power. I mean, he's just a very, very, very good wrestler. I think this is a very easy one to me. The difficult part comes in the way of how does Charles beat him? How does Charles beat him? You're playing right into Charles' world when you give him a Gamrot. Gamrot's going to take him down, which is going to leave him susceptible to arm bars. Charles can attack an arm. Guillotines. Rear nakeds. Charles can reverse him. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's so many ways he can beat him on the ground. So even though Gamrot's good at taking him down, he's gonna have to, have to be on alert. Like, okay, well, I can get choked out at any moment by this guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he's just gonna get takedowns round after round after round after. It's just not gonna happen like that. You're giving Charles Oliveira 5 rounds to find a submission because you know for a fact that Gamrot, as soon as someone touches him, he starts shooting for takedowns. Same, we saw it with Ludovic Klein. We saw it with Hooker. We see it with Fiziev. All these guys. Benil, all these guys that he's fighting. He is, second you touch him or show him any type of danger on the feet, he's shooting for that takedown. And when you do that against a guy, when Charles is the superior striker. So there's your danger right there, and he's gonna shoot for takedowns. And if you're telling me that there's gonna be 5 rounds of a guy in Gamrot who can knock out Charles, if you're telling me that he is going to shoot double legs and single legs and all these things on Charles for 5 straight rounds, and Charles won't find a submission, I just don't know. Sure, Gamrot's a better wrestler than Michael Chandler, but it's a different type. Chandler's able to take Charles down and land some shots on him. The thing about it is, though, that was later in the fight. Gamrot's going to shoot on Charles in the first round. So you have both guys dry. Charles going to attack a limb. It's just it's hard to pick to see how, a lot of people are saying that Gamrot is going to make this difficult. It's not an easy fight. Sure, but where is the threat from Gamrot? Where does anybody see where Gamrot could finish Charles or beat him in some sort of striking battle or beat him anywhere? Because the last time I checked, you can't just take people down anywhere. You have to have something in the way of damage. You have to be offensive. I think that Charles is going to be more offensive off his back than Gamrot's going to be on top. Call me crazy. So, listen, I'm going to go Charles, and I'm going to say submission. I don't know what round. I don't think it's going to be early. Gamrot's very good, man. He's a very good grappler. Yeah, I just think the entire fight's going to be Charles shooting for different submissions. And, if the fight is on the feet, Charles is going to win on the feet. Yeah, I can't. For 5 straight rounds, you're telling me that Gamrot's about to out-wrestle Charles, and that's it? Just lay on top of him? For 5 straight rounds with the best submission artist of all time. I cannot see it in any way, shape, or form. I'm picking Charles by submission. On to the Nizex. We got Figgy versus Montel Jackson. Now listen, let me tell you something. Montel Jackson has a 5-inch height advantage, and he has a 7.5-inch reach advantage. Montel Jackson is very powerful. He fights in that southpaw stance, and that left straight down the middle it's insanely fast. We saw what he did to Damon Blackshear. You know what I'm saying? Versus Julio Arce, dropped him. I think he had like, what, 8 or 9 fights in a row where he dropped his opponent. And listen, Figgy has an iron chin. We know this. Where I'm worried for Figgy is, and I've been talking to a buddy of mine about this, I'm very worried that Figgy, his his knee just exploded versus Corey. Corey, like, ripped his knee out of place. You know what I'm saying? So he's coming off of that injury. And his first fight is against a very, very dangerous Montel Jackson. I don't know, man. I don't know. Montel Jackson, who is a good grappler? Who has submission ability? Now, I've seen Montel Jackson get taken down before. You know what I mean? We've seen him get taken down before. And could Figgy do that to him? Is Figgy the better submission artist? Yes. But the fight starts on the feet. And, we know that Montel Jackson, when he does get taken down, I think it was versus the Julio Arce, he put those butterfly hooks in, and he showed a good ability to get back to his feet. What I didn't like, I'm thinking about it now because he gave up his back versus Daniel Marcos a lot. He did give up his back against Daniel Marcos a lot. That worries me. Versus a Figgy. But he has a 7.5-inch reach advantage. He's the bigger guy. He's taller by 5 inches. He's rangier. I can just see Figgy eating something coming in. And Figgy has an iron chin, so maybe that wouldn't hurt him. This is a tough one, man. This is a very tough fight to predict. Tough fight to predict. I'm gonna go ahead and say Montel Jackson. I'm gonna say Montel Jackson. I think this is gonna be a crazy fight. I think Figgy's going to struggle early. He could knock him out. Man, this is a tough one. Cause I can so see Figgy struggling early, getting beat up early, getting takedown stuff early, and then coming back late, and then maybe landing something, putting Montel Jackson away. This is a tough one, man. Very tough fight to predict. I'm gonna go Montel Jackson though, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be a war. This will be the fight of the night. It's either a fight of the night or someone gets subbed or finished early. That's just the way I see this. But I can't see either guy getting finished early. If a finish happens early, it's Figgy. Figgy's gonna finish Montel Jackson by submission early, rear naked choke or something like that. But I just can't see these guys finishing each other early. So I'm gonna say Montel Jackson is gonna be rangier. He's gonna have more in the way of damage versus Figgy. And I'm going to go with Montel Jackson. This is a tough one. Montel Jackson, I wish he fought more. He fights like once a year, and he has these crazy knockouts. We saw what he did against Ronnie Yaya. We saw what he did against Damon Blackshear. He's had some highlight reel knockouts, but he doesn't fight often. He's very inactive. But this fight here, if he wins this fight, this can really propel him into being a serious contender. I think Figgy's older now. The injury, you know what I mean? That's kind of why it's weighing me down. If this is this is a couple years ago, I'm picking Figgy. But coming off a knee injury like this, to fight a dangerous guy like Montel Jackson, I just don't know. You feel me? I don't know, bro. I don't know. So I'm going to go with Montel Jackson, man. And I'm going to give Figgy his respect. He's tough. I don't think Montel Jackson's going to put him in a knee bar or something like that. So I'm gonna say he survives, a beating early, makes it interesting late, and I'm gonna go ahead and pick Montel Jackson. Boy, decision. On to the next one: Joel Alvarez versus Vicente Luque. This is gonna be a brutalization. 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 Joel Alvarez is too good. You know, he's coming up a division. He was too heavy. He's moving up to fight Vicente Luque. Um, I just think that Vicente Luque is older now. This is not the same Vicente that knocked out Bilal way back in the day. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same guy. It's not the same guy that beat Tyron Woodley way back in the day. You know? Vicente Luque was a very he's a dog, you know what I mean? Dog. But he's old now, man. He's old man. You know, he looked terrible versus Kevin Holland. He got strangled by Darce. Lost to Buckley by quitting. Literally quit. I mean, he beat Themba Garimbo, but Themba was powerful, but Themba's not really super high level, right? So yeah, I just think that Vicente's old, and I think that Joel Alvarez is a young lion. Now, he's coming up, moving up to welterweight, right? I just think that he was big for lightweight anyway. So I do think that this was his, maybe his right division for him to be in. He was cutting a ton of weight, big guy for the division. I still think he's gonna be bigger than Vicente Luque. He's gonna be taller. He's gonna have the reach advantage, and he uses his reach well. He has a 3-inch reach advantage at that. Brutalized Ricardo close, destroyed Elvis Brenner with knees. KO Thiago Moises. Now he did get taken down and brutalized by Arman Surikin, but Vicente's not an Arman, and he's especially these days he doesn't have it anymore. I think Joel Alvarez will stuff every takedown. I think Joel Alvarez will be at range. Joel Alvarez might not get touched in this fight. I do think that Joel Alvarez will finish Vicente Luque by TKO. On to the next. Jonathan Diniz versus Mario Pinto. Now, Jonathan Diniz, he's too fat. He's just a fat guy. Now, when he does move well for being as fat as he is. He's a good kickboxer. He KO'd Austin Lane brutally. After Austin Lane took him down and stuff. But Mario Pinto is a very powerful guy. 80-inch reach. Has a tremendous reach advantage over Jonathan Diniz. KO'd Mario Pinto KO'd Lucas Camacho on the Contender Series. Also KO'd Austin Lane. Did him dirty. Oh my goodness. Now, Austin Lane did drop him, which was interesting. But I just think Mario Pinto's boxing is very elite. Very elite. Jonathan Diniz is gonna have to be on the back foot. He's gonna have to be on the use lateral movement to stay at bay. He's gonna have to use kicks. He's shorter. He's not a heavyweight. He's fat. He's just a very fat kid that needs to lose some pounds and maybe go to light heavy or middleweight. I really think he can make middleweight. Jonathan Diniz. He's just fat. He's just a fat person. Fat shit cat. And I think he's gonna get knocked out brutally by Mario Pinto. Mario Pinto is a dangerous man. Dangerous, long reach, stays defensively responsible, hides his chin behind his punches. He doesn't overextend. This guy's dangerous, man. And could have some potential to be a problem in this division, to be honest, with some of his striking ability. But, Jhonata Diniz is not the guy to beat him. It's not the guy to fraud check him. So I got Mario Pinto by brutal knockout, to be honest. And I am very high. I like Jonathan Diniz, but he's just not gonna win this fight. Ricardo Ramos will call Ofli. Two terrible fighters. I hope this isn't the order of the fight card, but these are two terrible fighters. Ricardo Ramos is terrible. Kaan Ofli is even worse. He's a grappler. Marion Santos beat his ass. KO'd him badly. Bad. I mean, just beat the shit out of him. I forgot what punch or kick he knocked him out. It was a punch. I think he knocked him out with like a hook or something like that. But just Marion Santos did him dirty, man. Did him dirty. Kept him at range the entire fight. Kicked his legs from underneath him. Took him off his feet with leg kicks. Just beat the shit out of him, He lost to Muhammad Naimov as well. You know, Kaan Ofli's garbage. So is Ricardo Ramos, in my opinion. He landed some wild spinning kick versus Joshua Kalubao. Kalubao. Loves spinning attacks. Just loves spinning and doing that stupid spinning back fist. Um, you know, he was getting his legs chewed up by Kalubao. By the way, I don't even know how he won that fight. To be honest, looking back at it, Kalubao probably should have won on damage, but Ramos won the fight by getting takedowns, and so he can't take leg kicks at all. Chepe Malascal out dogged him to beat his ass. Threw him around the octagon like he was a little rag doll. So Ricardo Ramos isn't good, but he's better than Kaan Ofli. Kaan Ofli's garbage. This is gonna be a decision win for Ricardo Ramos. It's gonna be a decision or a submission. I'm leaning decision because Ricardo Ramos doesn't really finish fights like that anyway. So Mike Aswell versus Lucas Almeida. Lucas Almeida is gonna piece this guy up and knock him out. Mike Aswell has decent power, but he gets hit. He gets hit a lot. He has decent boxing, I meant. But he gets hit. He gets hit a lot, you know. I don't see how he wins this fight. Lucas Almeida is actually pretty good. He lost to Danny Silva, but he beat Timmy Kwamba very badly. Dropped him multiple times. He's gonna have the height and reach advantage. I mean, Danny Silva's a dog in my opinion. Danny Silva beat him, but Danny Silva's a dog. I think Danny Silva's very good. But Mike Oswald, he's gonna struggle with the range. He's gonna struggle with the power. He's gonna get touched. He'll look good. He does well in the way of feints. But versus Bellagio, he made it look interesting early. But Bellagio just showed that he had the power advantage throughout the fight, and was able to win the decision that way. But the clear power advantage was on Bellagio's side. I think the same thing will be on Lucas Almeida's side. The only difference is Lucas Almeida also has the reach and the range advantage as well. So I'm going to say Mike Oswald gets KO'd in this fight. He's going to get TKO'd in this fight. On to the next. We've got Clayton Carpenter versus Jafel Filho. Now this is a very, very hard one right here to pick. Very, very, very hard. I saw Tagir take... listen, they're both wrestlers. Their scrambles are going to be crazy. Carpenter, he got a first round sub versus Juan Camilo Randeros. He submitted Lucas Rocha. That was actually really, really impressive. Really impressive because he beat the shit out of him on the ground. Damaged up his face. Now, Clayton Carpenter did lose to Tagir Owenbekoff. That's not a bad loss, And he was able to take Tagir down at least a couple times, I think. Either once or a couple times, I don't know. But he landed some nice elbows. Jafel Fiziev is a good grappler, though, man. He almost got finished with body shots by Daniel Perez, but I don't think Clayton Carpenter has that in his repertoire, to be honest. Yeah, Jafel won that fight. He lost to Alan Nascimento, and that was kind of a crazy back and forth grappling match. He did control Alan Nascimento for majority of the first round. This is a tough one. Jafel Filho is a submission specialist as well. Both guys are. This is going to be a tough fight to pick. I have no idea who I want to pick. No clue. Eesh. This is a tough one to pick, man. Something's telling me to pick Clayton Carpenter, so I'm gonna pick Clayton Carpenter. I think both guys are good grapplers. Both guys have submission ability. Both guys, who's a better striker? I don't even know. It's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Clayton Carpenter though. Something's telling me to go to Jafel Filho. Even though I just said something's telling me to go with Clayton Carpenter, but now something's telling me to go to with Jafel, Filho. Something's telling me to go that way, but I'm gonna go with Clayton Carpenter. And I'll probably be wrong, but whatever. On to the next. Vitor Petrino versus Thomas Paterson. Thomas Paterson, is shit. He's fat as fuck. That's what he is. He's a fat man. Vitor Petrino is moving. He's moved up from. He's moved up from. Uh, he moved up from light heavy. Yes, moved up from light heavy to heavyweight. He submitted Austin Lane, and I think he's gonna I think he's gonna knock out Thomas Paterson. Yeah, he's gonna KO him. Thomas Paterson's just fat, doesn't move well. Shamil Gaziev KO'd him, and I think Vitor Petrino will KO him too. He lost to Jamal Pogues, Jamal Pogues. Yuck. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Vitor Petrino will KO Thomas Paterson. Thomas Paterson. On to the next. Bia Mesquita versus Irina Alexieva. So Irina Alexieva supposedly has a sambo background. She's a sambo background. I don't know if she's a champion or anything, but I know she's a sambo background. But Bia Mesquita, I think, is just going to be the more aggressive, relentless grappler. Now, she is coming from the LFA. She fought some woman named Chantel Butler, and just kind of first round, she actually got caught and sliced open in the first round, Bia Mesquita. But she's a big, strong, powerful-looking woman. And it looks like when she grabs a hold of you, she doesn't really let go. She wrapped up that Chantel Butler woman and strangled her at cold with a rear naked choke in the first round. That's the only fight I've ever watched of her. I do know Irina Alexieva. I watched her, fight Melissa Mullings, but Melissa Mullings Russell fucked her the entire fight. And I think that's what's going to happen with Bia Mesquita. Now, she did drop Melissa Mullings badly. And Melissa Mullings used to go by Melissa Dixon. I'm guessing she got married. Someone put a ring on that thing. And now she goes by Melissa Mullings. But Melissa Mullings just kind of Russell fucked her the entire fight, even though Melissa Mullings got dropped badly by her. But Melissa Mullings was able to weather the storm and come back. So I do think that Bia Mesquita, actually, I don't, she'll find a way to get on the inside and make it a grappling match. I do think she wins by decision here. But I could easily be wrong on this one too. It's a tough card to pick. It really is. The matchmakers made it hard this week. Stuart Nicole versus Lucas Rocha. Now, Lucas Rocha, he's quick, but he's small. He's small for the division. And I think that, let me look at Stuart Nicole real quick. I think he hasn't won a fight in the UFC. Yeah, he's only had one fight. He got rear naked choked by Jesus Aguilar. However, in that fight, he was controlling Jesus Aguilar. He was getting the better of Jesus Aguilar. He actually flattened Jesus Aguilar out and finished him with almost got a finish with punches, with ground and pound punches from behind. He was raining down punches on Jesus Aguilar, but Jesus was able to scramble out and get him into a guillotine and finish the fight that way. We know Jesus has a really good guillotine. This one's a tough one too. Fuck, shit. We just don't have enough on Stuart Nicole, so I'm gonna pick Lucas. He's small. He's fast. He got destroyed by Clayton Carpenter. Destroyed him. You know what? I'm going Stuart Nicole. I don't care. I think Stuart Nicole is just going to be able to get a hold of him, get him down, and beat him up. Although Lucas Rocha is not bad either. Man, he has some good wins. Yeah, Stuart Nicole, he has like 4 first-round TKOs in some weird league regional scene that he was in. Man, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because I just don't know much about Stuart Nicole. I didn't get to see much fight film on him, but Lucas Rocha is just small for the division, man, and he got beat up by Clayton Carpenter, who's a grappler, and I think this is Stuart Nicole guy is a grappler, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick Stuart Nicole. Hopefully, I get this one right. Again, Walter Walker versus Muhammad Usman. I know I said there's a lot to talk about here. There's nothing to talk about. Muhammad Usman is gonna lose by heel hook. He's just gonna lose. He's not good. I don't understand this fight at all. Why make this fight? You want to keep the heel hook spree alive. That's what it is. Muhammad Usman is a terrible fighter, man. It's a terrible fighter. So I'm gonna go with Walter Walker by heel hook in the first round. Actually, that's probably a lock. Literally, like I'm not even joking. Like Walter Walker by submission first round is a lock. On to the next one. We go Julie Pilastri versus Carolina Kovalkiewicz. Kowalkiewicz. However the fuck you say her name. She's old. You know, she lost to Eisman Lucinda and Diniz Gomez. I know before that she went on a nice winning spree against nobodies. But Julia Pilastri isn't good either. It's just she's better than at this point. She's just better than Carolina. She presses forward. She was landing some nice knee. I watched her fight Corey McKenna, even Josefina Knudsen, who's decent. She's pretty good. Julia Pilastri had her on the ground, cut her open, beat the shit out of her on the ground. I don't even know how Josefina won that fight, to be honest. I really don't know how she won that fight. I don't think she won after rewatching that fight. She was getting beat up on the ground. I just think that she's too strong and young for Carolina. Carolina's an old woman. She needs to retire. She's like 40 now. Why are you fighting still? So I'm gonna go with Julia Pilastri to win this fight by decision. On to the next, Liam Lacerda versus Simon Oliveira. Simon Oliveira exists to be KO'd. Literally every single one of his fights in the UFC, the man's been KO'd. You know what I mean? He's just not good, man. Luan Lacerda does have a good like Muay Thai base, though. You can tell he has some power. I think he's one and one in the UFC, but it's like David Martinez KO'd Simon Oliveira. I mean, every single fight that he's had in the UFC has been KO'd, and he's fighting a powerful guy in Liam Lacerda, who isn't very good either, but absorbs a lot of strikes. I could be wrong about this. I really don't know. To be honest, it's a tough one. I think Liam was going to knock out Simon Oliveira because he gets knocked out in literally every single one of his fights. And, so that's what I'll go up for you. I think that's the last fight on the card. Let's look here. Wait a minute. That's all I got, man. Listen, this fight card will probably be very interesting. It's a very, very hard card to make predictions on. Literally every single fight. Charles versus Mateusz. In my opinion, Charles wins that one pretty easily. Deiveson versus Montel Jackson is a hard fight to pick. Joel Alvarez should win pretty easily versus Vicente Luque. Mario Pinto should win pretty easily versus Jhonata Diniz. But then Kaan Ofli versus Ricardo Ramos. Who knows? They're both kind of scrubs. Lucas Almaida should win. So maybe it's not that hard to pick on this card. There's some fights, though, that are tough. Like Jafel Filho versus Clayton Carpenter. That's pretty tough. So, like Stuart Nicole versus Lucas Rocha. That's a tough one. But there's some locks. Like, listen, I'm telling you right now, Walter Walker is going to get a first-round submission versus Muhammad Usman. That I can tell you. 100% I can tell you that. Vitor Petrino should easily beat Thomas Peterson. That's probably a lock. I think that Lucas Almeida is a lock versus Michaels Aswell. I think Mario Pinto is a lock versus Jhonata Diniz. I think Joel Alvarez is a lock versus Vicente Luque. I think that Yeah, I think that's what I got. It's your boy MMA Mechanic. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all the above. Until next time, holler at your boy. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know. I want to hear your opinion because we could talk about it. Maybe you could educate me on some things. You feel me? Cheers. Till next time.